Hey YouTube, what's up? It's Sparkles here, and today I'm gonna read My Dad Told Me Never to Go to into the Basement Part 4. So yeah. Okay, my shirt is so wrinkly right now. Okay, I'm gonna read it on my phone again. So before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell button. Let's get on to the video. I am 9 years old. It is the second time my dad whispered to me before shutting my bedroom door. Don't go into the basement. It is in the middle of the night. I am ripped out of sleep. And the first thing I notice is the absolute silence of our house. Our house is old, built hundreds of years ago by hands of my ancestors. Any given night, the air is filled with snapping and crackling, creaking of wood, the skulls of animals on the roof, the banging of metal vents as they struggle against the cold winter air and that seeps in. On this night, there were no such sounds. I can only hear the sound of my own breathing. My eyes have difficulty adjusting to the almost suffocating darkness that surrounds me. We live in the country half a mile from the main road, with thick evergreen trees shielding us from streetlight pollution. So, darkness is something that I'm used to. But this night is different. The silence is unnerving, but the air feels off. A growing sense of unease tugs at my insides. I throw my blanket, off my blanket, and a frigid breeze crawls across my skin. I pause, try to remember what woke me up. A sound. It was a whisper. Someone whispered in my ear, "Come into the basement." I had did did I dream it? Is my mind playing tricks on me? Whisked into a turbulent tornado of fear and doubt. I strained to hear any noise, strained to see the outline of my dresser or my door frame, but it is fragile. I swing my legs out of the bed and put my feet on the floor. Like everything else, the wood beneath me is cold to the touch. I feel my way to my door, hands outstretched in darkness. I enter the hallway and stand there, transfixed by the utter loneliness. I feel in that moment I am an astronaut floating in the darkness of space. Though my brother and parents sleep down the hallway, I hear nothing, no breathing, no groans of bed frames as the bodies on top twist and turn. Where is everyone? I reach the door to my brother's room only to find that it is locked. I knock faintly on the wood, but there is no response. I step back and make my way to my parents' room. The door is also locked. Again, there is no response that comes from my knocking. I want to call out, but something holds me back. The way the silence is swimming around me brings a shiver up my spine. I am prey, haunted by an unseen force. I dare not make any noise. I slowly shuffle towards the stairs, feeling around the wall with my hands because the darkness is so complete. My eyes might as well be closed. The texture changes as my hand comes off the wall and touches the wooden rail of the staircase. Before I put my foot out to step down, I hear something other than my own breathing, my own breath, for the first time since I woke up. Someone is whispering. I hold my breath so that I can try and figure out who is talking, but the words are unchangeable. They sound like bursts of wind as they blow across the blades of the grass in the fields around our home. The whispering is rhythmic. Someone is repeating the same thing over and over again. I cannot tell from where exactly in the house it is coming from. Down the stairs somewhere, but from which room? I don't know. Then a sudden rush. The whispering seems to come at me. I hear footsteps running up the stairs. Not running, sprinting. I see no one. I only feel them. Then I hear the creak of a floorboard. Someone is right beside me, breathing. I whisper, "Come find me." I scream, throw my arms around, but all they find is empty air. Instinct takes over, and I'm running down the steps, taking them two at a time, despite the fact that I am blind in the darkness. I hit the landing with a dull thud, and my momentum carries me into a wall. I stop there, frozen in time, waiting to hear the sound of footsteps pursuing me. Silence again. My heartbeat is racing, pounding inside my skull. Suddenly, my eyes catch onto something. A faint white light that streams in from a window. I walk towards it and find that the clouds have parted, revealing a half moon in the night sky. Somebody is shooting guns or something. It's weird. A glimmer of hope ripples inside me. The light is comforting, and I bask in its glow. The moment is short-lived. My head whips around, drowned by this new sound, something twisting back and forth. At first I think it is our porch swing swaying in the wind, but as I glance back out the window, I see the swing is dead as the house seems to be. I try to locate the sound. Only when I am in the living room do I realize where the sound is coming from. There, where I should have guessed. I would have to go from the moment I woke up. Something is making the noise in the basement. Or someone. It must be my dad. My mom never goes down there. No one in our family does except for our father. Maybe he whispers to everyone before he closes their bedroom door, "Don't go into the basement." All in a moment, my fear is fought down by curiosity, by anger. Why can't I go down there? What is the basement? What is in the basement? I stride confidently towards the top of the basement stairs, look down into the abyss. My breath catches. My mother and brother are standing at the bottom of the stairs, their backs toward me. They're standing so still and so quiet. I cry out to them, but they remain there, facing into the blackness of the basement. The noise is getting louder. It seems like a dead branch groaning in the storm. I summon up the courage and put on one foot. I put one foot in front of the other. With each step, I feel a coldness, not from the air, but inside me. It is the fear that is born out of the original darkness. When the first of us walk on the earth stared into the caves and nightmares sprang forth. I landed on the last step and am about to reach for my mother's shoulder when I see something that makes me stop. It's a sliver of pale moonlight that's crawled down the steps and pierced in the darkness of the basement, revealing a shape. A pair of 2 legs, 2 feet, my dad's feet. I flip the light switch beside me, and the first thing I see is my father smiling at me. It is an unnatural and cracked wide grin. that seems to be stretched from ear to ear. Then I see the rope dangling into the flesh of his neck, stretching his mouth into a grimace. His eyes are open, boring into me. Before I scream, he speaks to me. You found me. That is creepy, guys. I remember this in the park, sitting on the bench, as my brother tells me what I never wanted to reveal. He can tell from my face that now I know the truth I had repressed for so long. We found you laying on the floor underneath his feet. He tells me, your face, I'll never forget it, wide-eyed and gaunt. You look like a skeleton. Mom and I couldn't get you to move. Only when the paramedics came and removed his body did you make any sort of movement. We carried you out of there, but I don't think you ever really left that basement. I am silent, unable to form words for the moment. I am recalling all the things I know, the memories that now I know are false. The letters from my father, no memory of him carrying me out of the basement after the power outage. All those nights I thought he was tucking me in and whispering to me. I look at my brother, and he can see in my eyes I need more. You were different afterwards, which is to be expected. Even years later, when you started acting like a human being again, I could tell you weren't really there. Mom and I tried to keep going, but she couldn't handle being at the house. No, none of us could, but no one would buy the property. Everyone knew what happened there. Eventually, Mom just left us. One day she was there, and the next she was just gone, with a note saying she was sorry and that I should look after you. I tried. I really did. But you were a shell, a walking skin suit that only looked like my little brother. He sighed. The years of guilt and shame expelled out of him. I don't blame him, though. I remember him getting into college. We argued for weeks. Him refusing to leave me, and me refusing to let him stay. In the end, I drove him out. Cut him out of my life. I had the house. I had father. Why would I need anything else? My thoughts are interrupting when he starts to speak again. You called me the day you moved out of that house. You told me Dad said you were leaving. I knew then, truly and deeply, knew how broken your mind was. I struggled for a long time on how to help you. Then I came to the realization that if you thought Dad was alive, if you didn't remember finding his hanging body, then maybe you were better off. I kept tabs, making sure you were living as normal a life as you could. I waited in the hopes that you would reach out to me, praying that you were finally ready to accept what happened. I can't tell you how happy I was when you called me little brother. He sits with me, his hands on my shoulder, and looking with hopeful eyes. I stare back at him, ask him a question. What did you mean when you said the house that killed our father? Why did you say that? For a moment, a shroud of darkness spills over his face. His brow furrows. He looks around us, as if he's afraid someone may be listening. He leans towards me, whispers in my ear, don't go into the basement. We look at each other, and I know that I wasn't the only one Dad was whispering to in the dark. My brother nods at me, mutual understand passing between us. He goes on. He did that for weeks before it happened, stood at my doorway whispering. He was obsessed with that basement. I'd catch him, standing at the bottom of the staircase looking into the darkness. I would call out to him, but it's as nothing else existed. Sometimes I would come home from school and would hear him working away at something down there. I never did find out what he was doing. Whatever it was, I know it killed him. I know it in my gut. I stopped trying to figure it out, though. What was the point of it now? The house is gone, Dad is gone, what else? I suspected he isn't really asking me these questions, but instead he asking himself. But I can't answer him anyways. My mind is too distracted, too full of things I don't understand yet. There is one thing I know for sure. My brother doesn't remember the night Dad died. I trusted my memory of that night. I trusted myself. I really did see him and my mother standing at the bottom of the stairs. I trust just because there is something else I remember about that night. Something I refuse to believe until this moment. And as I sit there on the park bench holding my brother as he weeps for the family we lost that night, I know my work has just begun. I know that burning the house down is just the beginning, because I remember seeing a woman standing behind my father and holding the other end of that rope, the rope that took his life. Okay, that's it for part 4. Oh my god, like, for a minute, let's just sit here and think, why would your dad or your mom tell you not to go into the basement for like so many years, so many months, and then like hearing stuff going on in the basement? I don't even think that was actually his mom and his brother standing down there. Like, if you just think about it, like, it could not be them. But, Okay, you guys, I'm going to end it there. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.